Is B.E.T racist? That's today's top story on Rockland News Daily. I'm your host, Rockland. Let's get this started. Racists seem to always have a problem with the fact that there's a B.E.T channel on TV. They say things like, there's no W.E.T, so there shouldn't be a B.E.T. They say the fact that it says unapologetically that it caters to black viewers, that this is in itself reverse racism, which by the way is also made as a made-up term created by racists. But the problem with that argument is one thing: ownership. Why have a white entertainment channel when every channel that is not B.E.T is already a white-owned and operated channel? Must you take B.E.T too? In reality, when it comes to B.E.T, that channel is owned by Viacom. So in essence, even B.E.T is a white channel. If racists would turn away from Fox News channel from time to time, you would notice that most channels already mainly cater to white Americans. But beyond that, there's no shows on B.E.T that the host sits around bashing white people all day. You know, like how blacks are bashed all day on Fox News. B.E.T plays a few black comedy movies that a lot of times have a white person in the leading role, and only a few and mostly ignorant rap videos from time to time. There isn't one show where a person such as myself and my grade level would feel comfortable watching. They also have the B.E.T Awards. Not because they were being exclusive to white artists, but because the white award shows were exclusive to black artists that were and are amazing, but couldn't get the honors on the other channel. The creators of B.E.T just wanted a place where blacks were not left out, conversations that they had every right to be in. MTV refused to play black musicians' videos, and B.E.T only showed up to fill that racist gap. But that was then. Now that Viacom owns B.E.T, there is no longer a story to be told about how revolutionary B.E.T is. And the same goes for the other quote-unquote black TV stations. TV One is distributed by NBC Universal, so they are also white-owned. Many people say it's a 50-50 deal, but let's say one of these 50-50 partners decide to pull out of that deal. If Kathy Hughes decided to sell her share, or if NBC decided that it didn't want to do that deal anymore, which case do you think would destroy the channel? However, racists claim that the race card is at play with the existence of B.E.T because one of the letters in an acronym is black. First and foremost, the race card is a figment of your imagination. The only reason racists invented this so-called race card is racists hate when the light is publicly shed on when racists do racist things. They want their dirty, racist deeds to be kept secret. Screaming about this imaginary card is just a distraction in any conversation that a racist claims is pulled out in. Anyone with any common sense knows that this almighty racist card is bullshit. Already, they just want to see if they could steer the conversation to one about a race card instead of focusing on the actual racist thing that's happening, and the racist who approves of it by defending it. Saying that there's a race card at play is almost as despicable and racist as the racist behavior itself. When that distraction does not work, the next thing a racist would do is try to throw out crime statistics in the black neighborhood. You may think this news report is going on subject, but it's not. This is just the course of a conversation that you will occur in after you show and prove to a racist person how having B.E.T is not the victory that they claim blacks have over them. Anyway, about the race crime stats. Black people kill almost the same percentage of blacks as whites kill whites. 93% to 84%. Fox News leaves that little inconvenient truth out as when they're bashing black people. What they also don't mention is the fact that poverty is the main factor when it comes to crime. No matter where you are in the world, they also don't mention that because a person is white, that they're actually more likely to be killed or raped by another white person rather than a black person. Or the fact that crime is down all over the country. Or that more blacks are prosecuted than whites, And that also plays a major part in any crime statistics conversation. Just because you were arrested and charged does not always mean you were guilty. The invention of DNA tests proves that. It happens all the time. And we all know that having access to a good lawyer is always the difference maker when it comes to being prosecuted or found guilty or not. So once again, those talking points are invalid, and it still does not prove that B.E.T is racist. Of course, their next sentence will be, what about Al Sharpton? And how he is the so-called racist that is known to fan the fires of racism, causing black people to cry wolf nonstop. The truth about Al Sharpton is he is a stand-up guy, and that he's only looking out for justice and fair practices in the judicial systems of America. The only reason why racists have this disdain, this dislike for Al Sharpton is again because he is usually the one that helps shine a national level spotlight on racial injustices that racists wish would be swept and kept in the dark and swept under the white supremacy rug. And additionally, an additional answer about Al Sharpton is just because Fox News says Al Sharpton is the leader of black people does not mean he actually is. Most people in the black community do not think of him as our leader. We are very proud of what he does, and we love how he makes racists cringe when they are trying to get away with some devious white supremacist behavior. And we love how he brings the dirty racist deed doer to the forefront and stops other white supremacists from hiding the perp from America's racist hall of shame. But he is not our leader. I'm sorry, but Fox News has once again steered you wrong. Here's a news flash. Black people don't need a leader. We have a strong community that is working through our own problems slowly but surely. Al is just a part of that process. To understand black folks, you have to understand that the Civil Rights Act was passed only 50 years ago. Before then, savage white racists were out in the streets dehumanizing and killing black people without a care in the world. And they had the law to protect them and those lynchings. Most black people you see's parents lived through that time. We're not even one generation away from that time. It kills me when people say it's about time for black people to get over slavery. I don't see anyone getting over the Holocaust, which had far less deaths, and also, when the Holocaust was over, it was over. After slavery, all the blatant racist attitudes and killings kept going on and were perfectly legal up until when our parents were children, our immediate parents. In order for someone to get over something, it has to first stop being done, and on a regular basis. And even after the Civil Rights Law, black people are still constantly being disenfranchised, dehumanized in the courts and in the streets by police. And even our black president got caught at like as if he looks like a teenager trying to buy cigarettes from a grocery store. He's been the most disrespected president this country has ever had. The only thing I can say is changing is the miseducation of black children because it's becoming more fair in the fact that poor white kids are now also being miseducated and prepped for jail. It's actually pretty funny how poor white racists still believe that their whiteness will protect them from the prison industrial complex. It's also funny how they still vote Republican and have been confused into believing that disenfranchisement isn't happening to poor white people too. Who do you think is next when they lock up the majority of the black population? And with all the recent mass killings of people in movie theaters and daycare centers and schools done by young white kids, young white folks are on a path of destruction and actually are on the brink of becoming public enemy number one. And Republican fat cats are usually the beneficiaries of full jail cells. So even when you are saying that you are voting for the guy that is tough on crime, you're also voting against yourself and your kids' best interests. I know. But they didn't say that on Fox News, so you must be lying. The truth is, I'm telling you the truth, and maybe if there was a real black TV channel, more of this information would get out, and you wouldn't be so damn clueless. That's my show for this week, y'all. Thanks for watching, and please subscribe below so you'll know when my next episode comes out. Happy Friday, and have a perfect weekend. Good night.